Good afternoon and good evening and good morning to some of you. Thank you so much for dropping by the 3D Shenanigans. We have Lumi in the chat. That's really nice. Hello, Lumi. That's exciting. Many of us have just come from Chris's stream. So thank you so much for the raid. I much appreciate that. So hello, Christina, Chris, Steve, Marcos. Very nice to see you. Rod and Joe and Lumi, of course. Very nice. And hello and welcome to everyone who's lurking in the chat, who's not chatting, which is totally fine as well. I think we've got a bit of a, what's it called? It's called an omnibus. I believe that's what in the UK it was called when there's a soap opera which is called EastEnders, been running for over 20 years. And there was one episode every day. It's a bit like Lindenstraße in Germany, and when that was still on. And there was one day of the week, I believe on a Saturday, where they compiled all episodes together so you could binge watch them all. That was before binge watching was actually a thing. And this is kind of what's happening today. So first Chris was on, now I'm on, and after me, Steve is going to be on live from Down Under at 7 p.m. EST. That's about 2 hours time. It'll be exciting. If you want to hang around, stick around. It's going to be an omnibus of the 3D Shenanigans today. Very exciting. I thought, inspired by Chris's stream yesterday, I thought I'm going to do a bit of an emote update today. That was my idea. I'll do that in Photoshop. I can't use Illustrator. I don't really know how it works. And when I was made affiliate about 3 weeks ago or so, I was given this one emote slot on Twitch, and I thought that was super exciting. And we cobbled something together, but it doesn't separate that well in the chat. So you can type WP Guru Rat with rat in all in capitals, and this is what the current version looks like. And that's and Brian, thank you so much. Exactly, that's how it works. Oh, Lindenstraße is coming to an end. Ooh, that's how long has Lindenstraße then been on the air, Christina? That must have been like, it was on air since when I was still living in Germany. That was in 1990s sometime. My goodness, I remember when that started. It was a bit of a hoo-ha there. Exciting stuff. There we go. That's the rat. And I want to make the rat's ears cut off, and you can see that in the chat. We're going to make him a bit smaller, and I think I want to put a circle behind him in something like a bright color so that he blends in with all the other too bright things that are going on in the Twitch chat there. So I think I'm going to try that. But since then, I've had so many subscribers, and thank you so much for all of you who have subscribed to my channel, that I now have unlocked a second emote slot, which is super exciting. So I thought, great, let's update the rat and also add a duck, Christina's duck, that she gave me for that Carrara animation we've made the other day. So that will all be coming up. I have no idea how to do any of it, so it'll be exciting. It'll be a good experiment. See if we can make something happen. Please chip in with tips and tricks. I always appreciate the help. Just while Chris was working on the sword, I was doing a little compilation of the animation of Steve's title sequence that I've re-rendered in 60 frames a second for about 7 days on my other render node there with more iterations. And I've just compiled it, haven't had a chance to look at it. Why don't we look at it now? Let's take a look at this together. And let me go and also put on my little highlight thing here, the pointer focus. And I believe this is it. I've just dumped it on the desktop, so I haven't even looked at it. I've had Photoshop export it, and let's just see what it looks like. Put that on repeat. Oh, I see. I can see what's happened here. So just a bit of background on how I've rendered this. This was split across 2 nodes. One is my Z600 with the GTX 970, and that can render about 6 frames an hour. Whereas this computer here has an RTX 2080, and that can render about 15 frames an hour in this resolution. Ooh, Renzio, thank you so much for subscribing. I appreciate that. Very exciting. And hello and welcome, DreamLab Studio. Very good to see you, my friend. So that's how I split this up. Every once in a while when I go to bed, I render 100 frames on here, and the other node is just rendering in the background at all times. Having rendered a couple of test frames on that node, everything is fine. And then I kicked off the animation, and now I see something hasn't quite worked as well as I was hoping. So those black flashes notwithstanding, this node, I don't know if you can see that on the stream on the return, hasn't denoised this. Unbelievable. The first 100 frames looked like they are denoised, and from then on the node decided, nah, let's not denoise things anymore. That's just how it works. Ay ay ay. What a shame. I do like the 60 frame smoothness that it has. I believe, am I running this in 60 frames? I don't know if you can see that on the Twitch return. I think my bandwidth is not good today, so it's maybe dropping out and kind of dropping the resolution there a little bit and dropping the frame rate more to the point. But I will put this on the 3D Shenanigans YouTube channel, and then you can have a look and examine this yourself. So this isn't great, as great as I had hoped. It looks good, don't get me wrong, but it's not as fantastic as I had hoped. So I think the pre-version that I rendered for Steve with the backdoor 3D logo when we go onto the counter, that actually looks better than this one. But that might just be on my monitor. Yeah, I think OBS is telling me my bandwidth is struggling today again. So yeah, that might be it. I hope it's gonna kind of smooth out here. I should have really set this to something else, or should have tested this. There's also a pattern on the logo, so I don't know what happened there. Again, I tested this. It looked fine on the 3 or 4 test frames that I did render, but hey, one of those things. As we had yesterday, sometimes in the world of creativity, things just go wrong and you have to do things again. Oh well. Anyway, it'll be on 3D Shenanigans, the YouTube channel, later. And speaking of that, before we get started with the emotes, let's do something else that I've talked about recently. And this is not it. This is not it either. This is also not it either. This is also not it. It was the chatbot. I'm very inspired by Chris's shoutouts. And let me go and add some of those commands to my Streamlabs chatbot here in the cloud. So I'll just set up some shortcuts that link to some of my channels, some of your channels. It'll be kind of a good idea to just put something like an exclamation mark followed by a command. So let's do that first. It's a bit of housekeeping call here. And then we get on with emote designing. Let's do that. They do, don't they, Dreamlab? I think they do look really good, those reflections, and they only really come out when you render this in fairly high iterations. So this was rendered with 1,000 iterations. Commands, there we go. So I haven't got anything other than this command now. Let's go and see what happens when we try that. So hello will give us this. Hello from the cloudbot, WP Guru. Cool. Okay, so that's good. So the hello command works. I guess we'll go and use the same command. So I'll go and add a command. I'll call that 3DS. Oh, come on. 3DS. And I'll say 3D Shenanigans has its own YouTube channel. Check it out here. And the YouTube URL is really long. I haven't got enough subscribers to get a vanity URL there. So I've just made myself a redirect, which is 3dswpguru.tv, and that should get there. I'm not sure if it actually does that though. Just to err on the side of caution, always good. Let's go and see if it actually arrives at that super long convoluted URL. There we go. That's the channel, I mean. 21 subscribers. That's not a lot, is it? But hey, it's not about the numbers. Chat permission, everyone. Confirm. Okay. If any of you are game, please try it out. It should be live in the chat now. Try exclamation mark 3DS, and that should now give us, get Streamlabs, put a link to that channel in there. Likewise, speaking of the Chris's, I want to create a few shout outs here. Hey, I thought so, Christina. Yeah, it kind of keeps it on brand, as it were. So speaking of some of those, I'm going to go and say exclamation mark YT as well. Check out my main YouTube channel. And that's just going to be the, youtube.com, the WP Guru. Maybe that. I am thinking actually of changing my YouTube name from the WP Guru just to WP Guru to keep it on the same. It might just drop the as they say. For maybe 3D and tech tutorials. For plenty of. How about that? For plenty of 3D and tech tutorials. There we go. I think that's good, isn't it? There. Do you know, currently nothing, but we can put a command like that in if you like, Dreamlab, no problem. Actually, can I make this larger? Yeah, look at that. I might make this a bit larger, and it means that you can read it a bit better. There we go. YT. What else do we need? Maybe Twitter. That's also good. There we go. That's that. Haha. Thank you, Christina. Very good. I might also make a command once we have a list of them. Do you know, the funny thing is I've had all these things set up one point for the local version of the bot. And then, of course, I always forget to start it. And then you restart it from Mixer to Twitch. And then it forgets all the commands. And you go, oh, this is so sad. So once I've done this, I might make one that says exclamation mark help. And then I'll list a few things, or I'll display a link to a URL that lists all these commands, so that, you know, people, as these commands get more, we can just go and refer to this list if we wanted to give somebody a shout out. Like, for example, I'm going to give you a shout out, Christina, and I'm going to do that. I'm going to use exclamation mark Chris for Chris, as in Chris L. Cox. The L is can't be heard. What's the word for that again? What does he say on his page? So that's Chris, but you, I'm going to make CMC. So exclamation mark CMC. Check out Christina's YouTube channel for what's the word I'm looking for? For something along the lines of extremely cool, but that's like very in the hood. I'm looking for something more sophisticated. So there's that word, and then there's 3D tutorials, 3D and Blender tutorials. I was going to say. The L is silent. That's the one. Exactly. Thank you so much, Lumi. That's exactly right. The L is silent. For 3D, for Blender and 3D tutorials, I'll just say. And Christina, your channel, I believe you have a custom URL now. And that's just Christina McKay, I believe. That's without the double S, of course. Let's see if it works. youtube.com/Christina McKay. And we built this logo together, which is so exciting. I'm so happy to see that you're using that in your... There we go, Christina McKay. Exclamation mark CMC is now ready for y'all's enjoyment. And while we're here, let's go and say Chris. And Chris will get a shout out to his Twitch channel. Is Twitch good? Do you have something else? I'm happy to link to more than one thing in one shout out. I can do that. It's twitch.tv Chris L. Cox. That's the one. That is that hosting me. How exciting. That is very cool. Oh, I can actually go and have a look if there's anything else in here. Ah, Christina. Very good. I'm thinking of saying, check out Chris L. Cox's Twitch stream. The L is silent, something like that, if that's good with you. The L is silent. And you stream 3D pretty much predominantly, right? I'm happy to change this. So let me know if you're not happy with any of the kind of formulations there. I'm happy to change this. Is silent. That's right. That's right. Let's go in here. It's the German in me coming out. Ist silent. There we go. Very funny. That is so funny. So we have that. I could also add, I guess, the one that used to be famous, that was Facebook. Let's be friends on the Facebook. Drop the. And that's just fb.com/wpguru.tv. It also helps me offload some of this stuff from my brain into here. That's Facebook. What else do we need? We've got the 3D Shenanigans. We've got the main YouTube channel. I do also have a gaming channel with even less subscribers. Let's do that. Let's go and games maybe. Gaming, games. The L is silent. I like it. Aha! I'm glad this works. Check out my gaming channel, and I believe that is. Was that gaming? I've done a similar rewrite there. I think it's gaming.wpguru.tv. Was that it? Yes, look at that. That's it. Perfection. Awesome. Woo! That's games. I might change that into gaming. I don't really know yet. Who else needs shout outs? I guess we'll keep amending this list. So my God, Rod, I can't emphasize this enough. Absolutely, there's just so much to learn. And while we're on that subject, I haven't. Have I got the URL at hand? I don't. Have I? Have I got it? No. I could quickly grab it. I can just add. This is a great idea, actually. Speaking of, there's so much to learn about streaming. Let me go and. Grab that playlist URL. Playlists are just such a mess in YouTube currently because they're not integrated into the regular YouTube interface, and it's so super difficult to grab this URL here. You got to go to edit, you got to go to playlist, that gets you to the old interface, and that pops out, and you have to go to edit, and then you get this thing here. That is that playlist to that series I thought maybe we're going to create a command for, which is just streaming 101. My full course, I could call it a master class. That would be crazy. Is course a good word? What do you think? Course? Oh, thank you so much for hosting, Steve. I appreciate that. Yes, you know, that's what I was thinking. And it's just so super easy to remember these things, and you just type !Chris, and I know something to Chris will go on. And then also, if you had a website, if you had two things, I can link to both of these things. Doesn't matter how long the text block is, then all these things can be condensed into one thing, so we can keep this updated and working on it. I wish I could share this with you. Maybe there's a way I can export some of it get you started as a, as a template. That'd be cool. Like Christina, if Christina's website starts, then I can add that to her command. That'd be kind of cool. Check out my full course, Streaming 101. Boom. And then that should work. What else? Oh yes, of course. And we need backdoor 3D. So I'm just going to call that Steve. Check out Steve's 3D stream live from down under. And that's also on twitch.tv backdoor 3D studios. That is correct, isn't it? Let's try it out, my friends. Oops. That's the thing with the two keyboards. Haha. And that gets us to Steve's website, Steve's Twitch channel. That's very cool. Excellent. Haha. And I'm going to add ROT as well while I'm here. Whoops. That is just what happens. One keyboard, two computers. You press the wrong button, things just go horribly wrong. So !ROT, and then the chat disappears. That's just a Twitch anomaly I really disapprove of. So check out Renderosity's Artist of the Year 2019, Rod Shelley's website. rodslayer.com. You don't have an SSL certificate on your website, Rod, I believe. No, you don't. That's cool. I'll just leave the S. I just don't want to put the wrong protocol in there. What happens if I put that in there? What happens? Then we get that. So okay, I need to drop the S just so that there's no funny business. Also, renderosity is misspelled. There we go. I'm so glad it doesn't it doesn't just happen to me, that Dreamlab. I'm really I really appreciate that. Try !ROT in the chat and see what happens. Maybe, I hope everything is good. There we go. Brian, that is so funny. Brian, good idea. My goodness, how could I forget? The VIP in the room. Brian works well, right? Or shall I say 0 Kelvin? I can make 2 commands. Same content, 2 commands. Ah. And I believe that is 0 Kelvin with HTTPS. There we go. I need to put that promo that I made back on the Stream Deck here, because I do like just cutting to that and just giving you a quick shout out that way. Are you happy with this, Brian? Let me know, because I can say Brian Kramer's books. Maybe instead of Brian's books, I'll say Brian Kramer's humorous sci-fi novels. Here, how's that? That's cool. Is that cool? And then this is a good example. Thank you, Brain Freeze. I find that so reassuring that when I watch Chris's stream, that his brain frequently freezes. And I don't mean that with any disrespect, because mine does that as well. And you're in the middle of something and you think, oh, train of thought's gone down the drain. I don't remember what I was doing. It's just so reassuring to see that it doesn't just happen to me. It's nice. So I was gonna put 2 shout outs here. So one is for your website, but I can also put one to your YouTube channel. So I can say he's also on YouTube. And then I just put a second link in here. Let's see how that works. I'm sure there is one on your website. And if there isn't, we'll try out the custom link. And that indeed works. All right. Great minds think alike. He's also on YouTube. So let's do !Brian. See if that works. That should give us 2 URLs in one thing. See what that looks like. If that's too overwhelming, we can always take one out and let me know which one you prefer to keep in. It does, Joe, doesn't it? Yeah, it's good to know. Well, there we go. 2 links, that works. We'll do that as well. I wonder if there's a way I can just set up an alias command. Or I can probably say, so if I say 0 Kelvin as well, can I start with a template? Ooh, uptime? Awesome. Try uptime, !uptime. I thought a template would work like that. I suppose we're going to have to go and just copy the text from one into the other. So we'll just go copy, because I know in the heat of the moment I will forget. Did I call it Brian or did I call it 0 Kelvin? Yeah, that's a good idea. There. Woohoo! Humorous, and I've spelled humorous the British way. I hope that's okay with you. How exciting. If you can think of any other shout outs that I've forgotten to give so far, or that I should perhaps have handy, do let me know. Thank you, Brian. I like that. Support, of course. My goodness, how could I forget? Like, you know, soliciting for cash. You know, you got to do that on standby so that you can I've got one link on my website that basically has all the methods with which you can support me. And every once in a while this question comes up, and it'd be nice to have a command handy for that. So how do I word this? You can your YouTube channel, that's a good idea. Yes, let's do that. Let's do that. I'll add that in a moment. Show me the money, absolutely. You can show me the money here. There's something along the lines of give me cash now. How's that? That doesn't sound threatening or anything. This sounds like nice and polite. Give me cash now. I can see by Julia's expression that it doesn't go down too well. Let's try something else. Let's try you can support me in so many ways. And that's on wpguru.tv/support. There, that should work. Gimme, gimme, gimme. Those are all good commands. Flash your cash. Gimme, gimme, gimme. So, Steve, I don't think you have a custom URL yet, so I need to just look for you. Backdoor 3D, there you are. And then I will use this. And Steve is here. There we go. Check out Steve's 3D stream live from down under. He's also on YouTube. Boom. I like that it ends with bog. That's we're not in charge of these long URLs, but I believe you can change this when you. This URL will always be valid, but you can change this when you reach 100 subscribers. When you have channel icon, and when you have a channel header, then they allow you to change it in the YouTube interface. Give me cash or kittens will cry. If you can think of any others, let me know. We'll drop them right in there. We'll leave this open in the background, and let's get going with a bit of Photoshop shenanigans. We can totally close this. And I wonder, have I saved anything that we've done with the rat last time, or do I have to begin like completely from scratch? I think I have to start completely from scratch, like including DAZ Studio. Let's begin there, actually. Let's render these two images out, one of the rat's face and one of the little duck. I think that's going to be nice. Crazy, isn't it? Unbelievable. Why don't they just do that? I mean, that's what the WordPress folks do. They give you like whatever schlonz URL and they say, hey, click a button, give us $20 a year and we'll give you whatever.com. It's cool. And it would just be such an easy money maker. The amount of people who would do that, I got to tell you, one of the most successful videos on my channel, you will laugh at this, but is in fact, how do I find my YouTube channel URL? Because it's not obvious to people. Do you think this, if you want to give out something about your YouTube channel, it's your URL, isn't it? And they make it so bloody difficult to find it. It's a total nightmare. One of those things. Indeed, indeed. And then when they give you the vanity URL, they give you one that they actually redirect anyway. So they tell you it's going to be youtube.com/c/ whatever you pick, if it matches the channel name that you've typed in, like variations thereof. But you can actually leave that C out. You don't have to type that in. This makes it so much easier. Oh, we want to change the aspect ratio to something square. Let's use IMAX. 70mm Techniscope. Let's do that. Do we have square? Yes, we've got square. There we go. And it doesn't have to be that large. It's, I suppose, you know, like 1200 by 1200 is probably too big already. And let's see if we can go and put a little pose on him. What does the original look like again? That's that pose. Where he's got the ears kind of drooping down. This one here, was that this? It could be this one here. I think maybe this is nice. Oops. Or maybe this. I don't actually remember which pose we use now for this. Oh, this maybe. That could be it. Yes, that was probably it. But it kind of depends on how we want him to look. So considering this is going to look really, really small, and it needs to fit into the square with a tiny bit of space around it. Sure, Chris, thank you so much for dropping by. Very cool. I like this streaming conglomerate that we've got going on here. This is just so cool. I'm having a lot of fun, us all doing this together. It almost like we're not the 12-year-olds, we're kind of the advanced generation and the kind of, you know, getting onto the twilight years. That's what it feels like to me. And it's nice to figure this out with a group of you guys. So catch you later. When are you streaming next? let us know on Discord. Yeah, maybe we'll leave that. And I'm thinking, I'm imagining kind of a circle around it in the background. I'll put in there with Photoshop. Let's go and put that. I'm sure I had the original somewhere on the desktop. Maybe this time I'm going to start once again with emotes, and I'll call this one RAT Emote. And I'm going to make this into a camera as well. Currently it's just a perspective view, and if I leave that then and load the scene in again, DAZ will have forgotten what I've dialed in here. So I always have to create a camera, and then the camera will be remembered by the DAZ. Good point. Yes, thank you for letting me know. That's a very good point. I might actually just put the hand down. That might be, so that way we can leave the angle of the face and then just drop the arm. That might be the best way to success here. Let's see what it looks like lighting wise. I'm kind of happy with a fairly flat look. Also, these are not iRay materials. But I think it's adequate, isn't it? Yeah, let me drop the arm down. That's an easy fix to do. Like the rat's arm. Like the rat's nest or the rat's den. We're barely going to see the arm. I think this is going to be. It's not going to be okay. Come on, next bone here. There we go. Oops. Oh, I can also just use this little ball here. That's always handy. Maybe he makes some kind of a gesture. There we go. Also, the tail is kind of in the way. I'd like to get that out. Ideally, I could probably just go and hide that. We're not going to see any tailage here. Or any tail segments for that matter. No, that's the feet, isn't it? Feet we need to keep. Tail. That is one of those things I wish they would fix that. If objects are parented this way, you can't just hide the top parent and all the children will be hidden. That only works with groups, but not with the parent-child thing. You mean these ones here? Yes, actually, I'm going to go back to that arm there. I think the tail is fine. The tail is out of the picture. We can always Photoshop something out, but I think I'm not quite happy with the arm here. Let's see what we can do with a little magic ball up here without doing anything super nasty like I have just done to it. Posing, I gotta tell you, is one of the most difficult things for me to do in DAZ Studio. That's not something I'm confident about, happy with, interested in, talented at. That might work. That might work if you visualize a circle behind there. It's okay, right? Let's quickly save that. Bonehead. I don't think I've called him that, Joe. Let's see what this looks like if we go and just render this out and then bring it into Photoshop. Does anyone of you who has emote experience remember the amount of, like, the size of the emotes? From the top of my head, it was... I might switch the denoiser on as well. That's just a tiny bit of grain here. Let me go and put that denoiser on. The denoiser that hasn't kicked in on my GTX 970. Crazy stuff. There. Let's try that again. Yeah, I think it was 128 by 128. Let me have a quick look here. Was it in community? No. Content, maybe? No. Preferences? No. Streaming tools? Extensions, creator cap. Roles manager? Insights? I don't even know where to look. Where do these emotes go? Channel, perhaps? No, it was not in channel. Yeah, I should have really researched that before attempting to put that on here. Channel points, maybe? We call them happy points. Oh, there's a nice script for OBS, by the way. That is a really cool idea to redeem these channel points. They're the ones that have that little love heart smiley face on the bottom there that you accumulate while you watch my channel. And there is a way that you can redeem them. And when you do, there's a thing I can add into OBS that'll show a random image on the screen. That might be fun. I like that because I don't quite know what else to do with the channel points so far. Could it be under preferences, channel? Could that be it? No. I'll have to just look there. Huh. Well, how interesting. Let me go and put him emote renders. I'll make a new folder. I'm gonna call that renders. And I'll call him RAT version 1. Just so that we can go back to that. Let me see if I can find it on here. Oh, thank you so much, Lumi. And Ralph, thank you so much for dropping by. Hello, Ralph. Hallo nach Deutschland. Sehr schön, dass du wieder bei Christina bist. Finde ich toll. Klasse. Und finde ich auch prima, dass du dir Blender runtergeladen hast. Das ist ja klasse. Das finde ich super. Wenn wir dir irgendwie helfen können, du weißt ja, wo wir sind. Every night at 5 p.m. EST. Ooh, okay, great, Lumi. I'm looking forward to seeing it in action. It's going to be great. 2856 and 112. Okay, that'll help me out, and I'm sure I'll find a way to put them somewhere in Twitch. I have found this before. I just don't remember where they are. So I guess we'll start with something just 500 by 500. I'll just start with that. And into that, I'm going to embed my emotes thing, renders. There we go. There it is. Okay, RAT, meet Photoshop. Background, don't actually need you. Haven't really asked for you. I'll go and put a solid kind of dark gray color behind it so that kind of emulates both Discord as well as Twitch. We can change that color later, and then we can see what works best on what. So currently, much like Chris had yesterday, we don't really have a big separation between the RAT and the background, and that's kind of what I'm missing in my right now in my current state of the emote. So I'm thinking I'll just go and create a circle behind it, because I believe that works quite well. Hey, thank you, Photoshop. That's not helpful. Yeah, I'm thinking something like that. Ish. Doesn't have to be completely in the middle. I might actually no, I might make the rat a tad smaller even. But I'm gonna have to render him slightly smaller. So if I make him smaller like that now, the whole the whole layer if I make the whole layer smaller now, then of course we're going to lose some beard hairs here. So just for preview purposes then. Yes, I think I like that. Actually, we might be able to leave that. So my plan is to add a new layer behind here and just go and fill that with a funky color. Funky color of something that kind of blends in well with the other Twitch emotes there. Very cool. Look at that. Yeah, that looks so cool, Lumi. That is so exciting. It looks really good. I think it really works well with the circle. Radial highlight behind him. Yeah, also a nice idea. Also a nice idea. We could put something in DAZ Studio that makes this edge come out. We can do that. What does Control T do, Christina? So let's pick any kind of color. I'm thinking maybe like my signature kind of darkish purple, like the 3D Shenanigans type purple. It's like a deepish purple. See if that does the trick. Something like that. Transform on one. Oh yeah, right. Okay, yeah, right. Good point. Yes, good point. So not entirely super happy with that color, but the idea is kind of cool. So we can even add a little drop shadow behind that, so that the circle itself separates. I like it. So if we don't like the color, we'll just go and put a color thingy. What's it called? The has a color overlay on there. There we go. And then we just go and change it into whatever else we like. They do like the saturation on Twitch. I'm just keeping an eye on the whole interface, and it's all very kind of black with very saturated colors. Right. So I didn't have to save the selection. I think I know what you're getting at. I think that's probably a good idea. I'm thinking if we don't want to do that light source behind him in DAZ Studio, we can also fake that with the stroke. I don't know how good that's going to look, but we can just go and add either a stroke or a white drop shadow behind him. Let me see if that works. Oh, hang on a minute. Oh, that's probably because there's still a selection loaded here, isn't there? Yeah, so I'll go do away with that. So blending options, and then try a stroke. Why does a stroke look like that? Why doesn't that just cut out the rat? Is it picking up the shadow in there? Oh, it does, doesn't it? Oh, yes. It is picking up, literally picking up the shadow here. Sorry, still got a bit of a cold here. Blend options, sure. Can you see it all right, Christina? And in stroke, layer forms transparency. Pass, I'm afraid. I don't know what that, whoops, sorry. Layer forms transparency. I don't know where that, I don't know where that is, I'm afraid. To blending options, right. So here, blending options. Oh no, sorry. In the blending options, right. Blend mode, is it? Sorry, time's up. I'm going to do it in DAZ Studio. Doesn't matter. So I'll go and just select my whole camera here. I don't mean to be mean, but I have no patience for Photoshop or for badly designed user interfaces. If something's easy and intuitive, I can figure it out. Great. If not, I give it about 10 seconds, 30 tops. But if it's not, if I can't work it out, it's not. It's not. I can come back to it. I can come back to it, Christina. No problem. So let's go and see if we can just go move the camera back a little bit. It looks like we're looking at the rat from an angle, so that I'm sure I'm just dollying out, which with the mouse wheel I can only do that way and that way. That might actually be enough to do that. Yeah, just to do this. Move him slightly over there. Over here, right? Yeah, I think maybe, yeah, it should. I suppose mice only have the two like those types of teeth. I'm still in. Oh, I'm so sorry. Thank you so much. Thanks for letting me know. Sometimes I forget. There we go. This is now RAT version 2. And hopefully with him, we don't have to, now he should be zoomed out and he should have more hairs here too. I don't know if it's going to look great, but we'll have a look. RAT version 2. And we also see a bit more shadow here on the bottom of him. There. I like it. Very nice. So that's good. I like it. I like him in this position. When he's small, I think he'll separate nicely. That is also good to know. At least we know it's a rat. And I think all I want to do now is to work on a bit of separation here. So I basically give him a key light, like a rim light from the back. We should be able to do that. If I can work it out in DAZ Studio. If not, I'm sure we can. Christina has a trick up her sleeve. I'd love to know how, why that works. Do you need the rat image, Christina, to have a play around with that? I have a feeling it probably is due to the fact that we can see, if I just make this one, if I just make that light, yeah, a lighter color. There's probably something that Photoshop is picking up here. It's not a completely clean cutout. And I suppose there's a bit of the shadow catcher in DAZ that's being rendered with that. So it might be that my render could do with a bit of an improvement there. But let's see if we can do that in DAZ Studio. Give him a bit of a key light there. So Steve knows more about key lights, sorry, rim lights than I do. I believe it's kind of from here to the rest of the tail that we don't frame in. I could hide all these segments, but this is the rest of the tail. That looks quite hilarious. So it's kind of about from here and very strong. I always forget if it's more from the top or more from the back. I think as a rule of thumb, it's almost like opposite the camera. but not exactly looking at the camera. It's just looking down at the subject a little bit. I think that's how it works. But I'm not an expert on this, so I'll go and try it with a spotlight like this. It might work. I think the easier way, Dreamlab, is to just go into the render settings and in environment, just not draw the ground. If I just click that off, then it's a completely transparent affair. So I might do that for testing, just to see what it's like. If I don't draw the ground, then it's not going to be, it's just not going to be there. And then I can leave the framing as it is. So Spotlight, let's have a look at this in iRay here. And did I create a Spotlight yet? Yes. Spotlight settings under parameters, light, spread angle, width, emitter, luminous flux, more, I say, 50,000. Let's start there and see if we can start seeing this. I'd like to see some separation, literally here, everywhere on the character. 50,000 might not be enough. I'll go and make that way stronger. So I can see a small edge here now. That's good. That's good. Probably make that even more than it should be, just to see the effect. Yeah, I can see it's still too high, so it's catching his nose here. So I think if I make the light lower, then it won't quite catch the nose, but we get this nice effect here and here. So let me try that. See if I can just go look through that. Yeah, so it's still very, very strong. So it's stronger than it needs to be, really. It's a shame that I can't really rotate around that. Can I? There we go. I can. Oh, that's good. That's good. I could position a null and do it that way. Oh, the preview is actually working quite nicely. Look at that, the real-time preview as to where I'm pointing the light. Do you see that? I can literally, if you look at that while I'm moving the light around, I can actually get a bit of a preview of what I'm trying to achieve here. So I'm trying to not catch any of his nose like that. I'm trying to not do that. I'm not trying to not catch too much of his bottom there. I also don't want to see the light in the background. Maybe this could potentially. Is it working now? I mean, it is too strong right now, but it's just to emphasize this effect here. That's nice. Often we neglect the fact that OpenGL, the implementation of OpenGL in DAZ Studio is actually good for something, you know? I might move it around like here so that I highlight a bit of this area of our little man as well. That might work nicely. Try it from slightly higher. No, it was much better when it came from the top, from the bottom there. So that's nice. I don't catch his nose. I do catch a little bit of separation here. That's lovely. I do catch this. That's all nice. All we need to do now is knock the light down in intensity, and then I think we have something, you know, we can use. Thank you so much, Christina. Excellent. Thank you. I'll have a look at that. Let's go and make sure the light is selected. Spotlight, and 5 million lumen was perhaps a little bit much. Let's try 500,000, and I'll go and have a look at the rat in here. Take that off here. It's almost like we want more. isn't it? So between 5 million and 500,000. Let's maybe call it 2 million. What you thinking? Oh, Lumi, that was such a cool idea yesterday. That was so cool. In case you didn't catch Chris's stream yesterday, Chris was doing an emote for Lumi's channel. And it was something from, it was a kind of, it's a scene, it was a clip in which Lumi was trying to, I don't know, kick a gator in the face. And it turns out the gator ate his character in the game. That was the joke. So Chris wanted to make an emote for Lumi's channel in which the gator has a boot in his mouth. And Chris spent 2 hours doing it in Illustrator. It was great to watch. It's a really nice way of looking at the whole design process from vague idea to execution to now we have it, like what Lumi was showing earlier. Drop it in the chat again, Lumi, if you like. It was really cool to see the work that had happened there. And as a little thank you, Lumi went ahead and gifted 10 random people subs to Chris's channel. That was such a cool idea. I thought that was hilarious. It's a great idea. It's one of those things, not many will be aware that that's actually possible on Twitch to do that. That's very cool. Gifting subscriptions, that was awesome. Yes, good idea. Good idea. We could look at that. Let me see. I'm going to render this out now. I'm also going to go into render settings and switch off the ground so that when we render this, there's no ground shadow visible. The light is actually so strong that I can almost see it coming through the character here, but I think it'll be fine. I mean, we're talking about, 28 pixel emote. Let's see what it looks like. I'll go render this out as version 3, and then we'll see. Well, actually, I could overwrite version 2 if I wanted to. And had I linked the image in Photoshop, which I haven't, so it's maybe I'll do that now. I do see, and I do need to do that before I save this out, I do see the reflection of the eye target in the little guy's nose. So I just need to switch off the eye target. There's also something else. I mean, again, it's so non-noticeable, but if I just zoom into this area of the final render, do you see where the light separation is happening? It's happening and it's okay, but you can almost see the steps if you look really closely here and there. And I believe, and don't quote me on this, this is just something I've been playing around with this might be caused by the light geometry. So if I make the light source just ever so slightly larger, then we lose a bit of the harshness of the shadow, but we also get rid of those little steps here, I think. See what I mean? I mean, again, when we look at this as like a tiny emote, it's not going to make any difference whatsoever. But it's just something I'm noticing looking at this in full screen. Let's look at it while we're there. There's a tool for the eye target, I believe here in eyes point at eyes eye target hide. Ding, Gonski. I like. Let's see if I can do that in the light geometry here. If I can remember where that is. Was it area? Yes, there we go. Is it light geometry? If I make that into a disk instead of a point, do those things disappear? I hope it does. It might not, so it might also, it might be related to something else. No, it's still there. I have figured out one day how to do this. And of course, I can't remember now. It's annoying when that happens, isn't it, Dreamlab? Because it's one of those things you think, either make it obvious how to fix it or don't make it happen in the first place. No, it happens literally with everything. It's not geometry related to the mouse. So it is, even if, I mean, I can see that the rest of the character is fairly smooth. I mean, you know, for a laugh, actually, before I save this, I might just see what happens if I crank up the mesh resolution. Oh, is that base? Oh, he doesn't have a subdivision surface modifier on him. That's interesting. Let me go and save this, and then I'll quickly put one on just to see if that actually does the trick, just out of curiosity, really. I thought there would be a subdivision surface modifier on it. It could be that this is giving us really nasty results now. So brace yourselves, everyone. Object geometry, convert to sub D. It's gone! DreamLab Studio, you've done it! That was it. That's exactly what we needed. You can already see it in the preview. That phenomenon is gone. So it could really be a combination of the two, because I had also changed the light geometry. Whatever it was, this has solved the issue. Thank you so much. I love it. Collaborative teamwork for a better result. To the 28 by 28 emote that we're going to make out of this, to put it into perspective. Nice. Even crank it up for the render, even for the render and the viewport, just to see, has anything changed? 2 might be overkill. No, let's go for it. 2 hours later for a thing that we're not going to see in the final result. But hey, that's what we do. That is exactly what we do. How am I doing on time here? See, I'm an hour and 15 minutes into the stream. I really have to get cracking here. We're making 2 emotes today. No worries. 44 minutes and counting, Steve. Steve's going to be on right after me. I'll go and raid you there, Steve. This is much nicer. This is so much nicer. Here, if I go and show you that in full screen, it was worth the effort, seriously. It was absolutely worth the effort to spend a bit of time making sure this looks nice. I have this super cheap, no frills, $120, $150 monitor here on my desk. And next to it, I have the $1,000 Mac monitor. And the color accuracy and the contrast is just so much nicer there. So it's always nice to look at a picture I've made here on that monitor and then see how nice it actually looks. But it's worth it for the creator. That's exactly right. And at the end of the day, that's why we do anything and everything that we do. It is just I suppose that it's a very important thing to remember. First and foremost, whatever you do, it has to make yourself happy. And it's not about, is it making other people happy? It has to make you happy. It has to fulfill you on some level. And that's very important. I was going to link the image, wasn't I? Let me link the image. I can already see in the preview here that I don't think we'll have shadow issues anymore. See that these two, they have the shadow here. Even in this small preview I can see it, and in this guy we don't have that anymore. So I think this should solve our problems with the should we want to add something to the mouse in regards to separation or whatnot. And that wants to be like a dark gray. It almost looks like a nice spotlight. I really do appreciate that. It's very nice. What do you think? I mean, it doesn't even require any big type of color correction here. I am tempted to make him a little bit darker, but it's good, isn't it? I do like it. I do like it. I was half thinking of making the background, kind of the circle thing, a bit softer, but again, that's not actually necessary. Yeah, if we do make him bigger, just as a, do you know, I mean, it is for Twitch at the end of the day. It's a tiny emote in the chat. Just for my curiosity, if I make him bigger, just from the center, we can do that as well. I think that might actually benefit the whole picture. Just make him a little bit larger. Little gradient in the circle, yes, we can talk about that, yes. What gradient would you suggest? Like a darker at the bottom, lighter at the top, or the other way around? That is actually really easy done. Again, there's a manifold ways of doing it. The easiest thing is to create another layer on top of this and just use multiply on top of that, just so that it hits the circle. Another one is a layer mask. There's so many things we can do here. Maybe I will do an extra. There's an extra gradient layer I can use. Hello there. From that to that, we can even just angle it a little bit. I do like drawing these things out, just in black and white. I like going creating my own layer, and then just using the gradient tool, and then I'll just do this. That's what I do sometimes, or make it a bit sharper, like that, or like that. And then I apply that as a thing to there, and then I set the blending mode of that to that. But I'm sure there's more elegant versions of doing that, but for preview purposes, it's kind of nice with and without the gradient. You can also drop the opacity of the gradient down so that we just see that. Or did you mean a sharper gradient, like with the sharper separation, Marcos? Exactly, yes, it's a clipping layer. It turns it into a clipping layer so that it only affects this, exactly, it only affects that layer. I think the gradient could be a bit sharper, I'm thinking. So like that, so that we see it a bit more pronounced here. No, actually, that was. It does actually add that little bit of extra pizzazz to it. Are we good here? I think maybe that's it. Maybe that's the new WP Guru RAT Emote version 2.0. Oh yes, there was one thing I just again, this is just to satisfy my curiosity. If I go to the blending options of the RAT layer, what happens if we do put a stroke around this now? Yeah, perfect. So this is now behaving like I thought it was going to behave. So not that this looks great or is necessary, but it is now something we can do without Photoshop freaking out because of the shadow thing there. Let me know what you think. Do we need that or not? I'm almost thinking it's probably something we need to judge when this thing is tiny, which is more like this, and then it would be with or without the stroke. So I don't think I like it in the large version at all, but in the small version I'm still not sure. Blur the circle. Yes, we can try that. We can try that. Again, we need to remember it's going to be, this is going to be the size at which it will appear. And if the blurring, again, it's going to look nicer when it's large, but when it's small, it'll be barely noticeable. It does, doesn't it? I can crank it up a bit. I can make it a bit bigger, the outline. We should really judge it in this small thing, in this small version here. Yeah, let me try 15. Opacity wise, I think we're okay. I don't think I want to make this more than 50. It could work well, it might not, I'm not sure. With and without, we can try something else. We can try something else in the with it. So instead of having this as a, because in the large version it does look absolutely terrible, but we can try something else, and that's a drop shadow or outer glow. That also works. Outer glow sometimes works nicely. Let's see what that does. A drop shadow, and then not make the shadow black, make it white. So this is with an outer glow, so it almost serves the same purpose, but it's much softer. Exactly, and there's the old version. WP Guru RAT version 1.0. Oops. Outer glow versus stroke. Outer glow, which can also be bigger. I can make that more, but I kind of like the subtlety of it versus stroke. I totally agree, Dreamlab. There is. I'm thinking outer stroke. Let's try the last version of this, because we do have a bit of time, and try the drop shadow, and then just not make the drop shadow black, and make it light. Actually, the drop shadow itself is actually not bad at all, is it? It really is a skill to design something that is actually, maybe we need the drop shadow and the outer glow both at the same time. No, maybe just the drop shadow, because maybe that adds the separation we were kind of looking for. Yeah, maybe the drop shadow is what we need. Drop shadow and neither stroke nor outer glow. How's that? Drop shadow. Happy? What do you think? The new WP Guru RAT. Let me just save this before anything nasty happens. Emotes, and we're going to call that RAT. So going by this same template, then I'll just go and I'll get rid of the other two images here. The fails, they get out, and I'll leave all these things essentially in place. I'll just make that, turn that into a group, and call that one the RAT, or even actually WP Guru RAT. No, just the RAT. RAT is fine. RAT is fine. And then these guys here, all of these, I think I'm just going to turn into a group and call that background. There. Christina says hi. Julia says hi. Yeah. It's a shame we can't just go and give Twitch all these versions, and then we can see which one works best. I do like the outer glow in the small version because it just adds that separation. I think the stroke is a bit too harsh, even in the small version. I think that's a bit just too harsh. So I personally don't like the stroke. The outer glow, light outer glow, great. Yeah, I might even increase that a bit. in regards to size. Not so much the spread. Contour is also something we can play with. So like that. Is that noticeable on the stream? I can make it a bit bigger. So again, in the larger version, it's not really going to look great, but for the smaller version, from what I'm seeing here, that actually adds something to it. Maybe it went over the top a little bit here. Maybe make it a bit smaller again. Because if I see it with and without, I think with it does actually look rather nice to have just more separation. But then, you know, let me know what you think. I can put multiple versions up on Discord. Then you can judge them by yourself. Maybe I'll do that. I'll do that without the background. Whoops, I shouldn't have put the actual background layer into the background, should I? So. Separate that out. Okay, cool. Thank you, Steve. That's you keep an eye on it, and I'll just give you a shout when I'm kind of ready to wrap it up. So I'll maybe go 15-20 minutes over, perhaps. I'll see. It's the same principles we've done here will apply to the duck. So it should be fairly simple once we've decided on what version we're going to use to apply the same thing to the duck, I'm thinking. Thank you, Steve. Thanks for letting me know. I appreciate that. Let's go and move that out. And this, I'm just going to rename that one circle here. And then this is going to be our background, just in case we come up with other things here. Background. And that shall go on the bottom. Aha. So if we go then take the background away. He's Bach. I like it. Chris, we need some designer's opinion on this. So disregarding the large version, I'm playing around with how to separate the rat from the background. So I was playing with an outer glow here. So they don't look good when the rat's larger, but when we consider the rat's going to look like this on Twitch, there was an option to have a stroke or a drop shadow, disregarding the size, just as a principal thing, so it adds that little bit of separation below the rat. Or there's also the idea of an outer glow, and I was just playing around with some size variations of the outer glow. Let me know what you think about that. Oh, there was also this, wasn't there? I played around with the contour here. That's yeah, I don't know if I like that harsh contour. Maybe in the small version, I do and I don't. Software with too many buttons and options. I'm going to put all of these on Discord now, just as a small version here. I guess in 128. Let me try that. And then also as a PNG, I totally forgot to switch off the background layer, so we can see that in action. Those of you who are on Discord, have a look at it. And let me know what you think in 128. So that's going to be the original, kind of the largest version we're going to submit to Twitch. And we'll call it... maybe a test. Let's do that, because they're kind of tests. And this one is the one rat outer glow. I think we already know that we're not going to use the stroke, and the drop shadow I think I'm just going to make a little larger. And then we have these two versions there. rat shadow. Alrighty, do I have Discord open up on here? I don't. There we go. I'll do that. I might be a little bit longer. Steve is running a tiny tad behind, and I haven't even started my second emote yet. So I'm glad we're kind of, you know, we're on the same wavelength there. I'll put that in the 2D chat. Ah, yes, Christina, I see your PSD image there. I do appreciate that. That's nice. And let's see if I can go and drag this whole thing in emotes. Here we go. Rend tests. There we go. So rat with the outer glow comes first, and then rat with the shadow comes next. Take a look at it and see what you think. And in the meantime, I will go and get cracking in DAZ Studio with the duck. I'm thinking I will probably use the same setting and the same lighting for that. I'll just go and upsize the duck into more or less the same position as the rat, and then, you know, maybe that'll be good and easy. See you later, Joe and Rod, if you're staying. Oh, yes, I can do that. Like the 28 by 28. That's a very good idea, Chris. Let's do that. Let's do that. I think that's what Lumi was saying, wasn't it? It was 28, 56, and 112. Actually, not even 128. It was actually 112, wasn't it? So let me go and try 28. And this was the rat shadow. I'll just overwrite these here. They're just tests anyway. So I'll post them again, and that was that with the outer glow. Yeah, thank you. That's the red outer glow. Yeah, baby, let's do that. And that and that. So outer glow first. Outer glow goes in. Boom. And you see, this is actually quite nice to see this on the in the actual small size. Very nice. Let me know what you guys think. I wish there'd be a way that we could just go and drop it into the Twitch chat right now, like the preview emote. But I know what's going to happen. People are going to do all kinds of mischief with that. So let's bring in my friend the duck. Where did I put that? I did install that properly, so I think, is it in props? Is it a prop? CMC, yes it is. CMC headphones, rubber duck. Ha ha ha. There we go. I'll just take this exact thing. That's there. Great. That's the emote. I'll just take that preview picture, Christina. That's all we need, isn't it? I like it. It just looks so cute. There's just something so cute about that. I don't know. It just makes me smile. Oh dear. Very cool. Brian says the first one looks better. I like it. Okay. I'll hide the whole... Well, I'll go and put some lights on here. Good thing is the duck's already the same size as the rat, so that's good. I like that. So perhaps then I'll go leave the camera in exactly the same position, and I'll just go turn the duck around. Hello, duck. So that we catch, I don't know, something like that. I don't want to necessarily move the camera, and also maybe I should get rid of the rat, mouse, whatever. Yes, I don't necessarily want to move the camera, because then the render is technically kind of ready to go. So if I needed the duck smaller, I can just make it smaller and lift it up and all that. So I'll just leave that camera in place. I don't actually know how I would like the duck, what I would like the duck to look like. I might just play around with my camera here and just see what I would like the duck to look like. So once again, thinking about that there is a circle maybe around it. Do I want the duck to look at me like that, at the viewer? Do I want to focus, emphasize the head of the duck? I never thought about ducks much. Do I want like a 3/4 profile? Oh, the whole oh yeah, okay. Thanks for letting me know. I might do that. I mean, what makes a duck funny is the fact that we can recognize it as a duck. So if I only show part of the model, that might not be enough. So yes, I can see. So what Christina did there was something along the lines of this, and then I guess take the head. Is it rigged? No, it's not rigged, right? It's just no. Okay, so I suppose you tilted it then like the whole model like this. Like kind of almost banked it a bit. That's cute. Yeah, I don't see anything. There might be in the. Yes, I can probably go into the. Yes, I can just take the head. That's a good idea. I might do that, and just rotate the head, like so. That might actually look kind of cute there. I can't even turn the head. That's kind of cool. I can make the head look at the camera. Maybe we'll try that. See what it looks like in the. If the duck were. Oops, that's the whole head now, isn't it? Let me just go position the duck without changing the camera, so that we have the whole duck experience. So I like the shape, and perhaps now I'm just going to go take the head and then just go make the head. Whoops! Look at the dude. He doesn't quite want to look at the camera. Maybe there's a oh yeah, there's a limit applied. I'll see what happens if I go and take that off. I don't want him to look like, you know, killer duck or anything, but it's. I do think maybe we can do something. It would be, I guess it would be easy if I could change the camera a little bit. I might just duplicate mine, and so that I have a duck cam. Don't worry about it. Like, I know what you're saying. It's this, right? That's what you're concerned about. I can see that. I can see that. I think though, again, because it's a 128 by 128, 112 by 112 emote, we may not see that. Let's look at this rendered, see what it looks like. And let's not worry about the light too much. We can, you know, we work on the light, that's okay. Just the duck as a shape. Is that something that's cool? I'm thinking that the head could even be tilted a bit more, and the whole head just, you know, turn around to look at the camera like the psycho duck, something like that. On the verge between psycho and friendly. That's what I'm thinking. Let's see if I can make it. See if I can make that happen. Maybe turn the whole duck around a bit more, and then just give the head a tiny more bit of a twist and another. Is it a bend that I'm looking for? Unlike a snow, it's not a bend; it's a side, isn't it? I might take the limits off here as well. can make it not. Wouldn't that be cool if we had moving emotes? Yes, and don't worry about the weight painting. It is literally, it's barely noticeable. I like this though. It's noticeable as a duck, but it's also looking at me funny. That's, you know, I like that. I like that. So then let me go and duplicate the spotlight. And since we've saved the rat, I might as well just save this whole thing as the duck emote. And then I can just use I can actually get rid of the mouse and the first camera. I might as well leave the first camera, but I can adjust the spotlight now. If I look through the spotlight, yeah, this is why we're not getting great results with that spotlight. So I'll just go and move myself just over here. And then the light intensity might still be a little bit too harsh here because the duck's material is very different. So, but the separation is here. That's what I'm looking for. This is catching the light too much, so I might actually leave turn the light around so that we have more separation here. I might do that, and then I'll tone it down. Let's see if we can make use of the OpenGL preview again, like that worked so well with the other one. So if I want the separation from here, then I guess I'm going to have to go and turn my light around to about here. I don't want to hit the beak. I see in this case it doesn't work so well at all. That's a shame, isn't it? Worked so well last time and now it doesn't anymore. This is how it goes sometimes. Oh wow, it's that long ago? I wouldn't believe it. That is so cool. Yeah, if I turn on the render, then we see the actual iRay preview Dreamlab. But when we did this earlier, this worked so well with the OpenGL, and that's what I thought we could do again. I mean, now it'll just take that moment for iRay to catch up, but it was doing it in real time. You know, that was cool. There. So, you know, light is perhaps ever so slightly strong. Let's see if we can make that, can tone that down a little bit. It's perhaps 2 million. Let's make it 500,000. Yes, even that is too strong still. 200 maybe. Yes, even that is too strong now. 100,000. And now it's gone. Interesting. Oh, now it's set to 0. That's why. There, so we don't want to totally burn him out. We just want to add a little bit of separation here. But I think also the whole actually I do want more, don't I? I want more. Always want more, don't I? I want some. I think the environment light is just a bit too strong for the duck, or maybe the tone mapping is something I can change, or perhaps I should change the position of the light. Yeah, I think I might have to try, because the level of separation is nice. It's just catching the back a bit too much here. See if I can do it here with the spotlight. So it's catching this. So I'll go and try to move that here. That I can try. It's a good tip actually. Let's try. That's usually under misc point at, and then we can point it at the duck's head. Now, caution, sometimes what happens is that the light itself will rotate and kind of look at it from a really funny angle because DAZ thinks it's hilarious. That could, like this example shows, it does happen. So yes, this does happen, but yeah, it now allows me to just go and move, not so much rotate, but I guess move the, no, I can't actually move it left and right anymore. Yeah, sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't work so well, because I guess now I can't walk around the duck anymore because it's kind of fixated on it. It does that. DAZ Studio is funny. It's funny that way. But I think, yeah, I just want to make sure I don't catch the beak. So I'll just go and try this. And I think we're there. I think we're there. Let me go and do one last little tone mapping tweak here. And rather than adjust the lighting, I'm just going to make the whole thing a bit darker, harder contrastier. The ground is still off here. That's cool. So I do that by, how do I do that again? Is it burn her? Crush blacks, that's it. Crush the blacks, man. Or I just do it in Photoshop. Perhaps I'll do that. Yeah, I'll do it in Photoshop. I like that some values you just press Alt gear icon. Oh, actually, it's Alt slider, isn't it? It's Alt slider. Yeah, there we go. It's not Alt gear icon. It's Alt slider to reset them. But other values, they don't work that way. I don't know why. Oh, gamma. This is what I was looking for. Man, gamma. Come on, crank down the gamma. That'll do the trick. On the Amiga, my goodness. Christina, that's crazy. Maybe we should convince Jan Beta. He's a German streamer, and he does retro streams from authentic machines, so no emulators. He does Commodore 64, Atari things, and Amiga, and he does games usually. But that would be an awesome stream. You tell him how Cinema 4D works on the Amiga, and he does it for you. That would be hilarious. Jan Beta, check him out. Sometimes he likes finding things like an abandoned +4 by the roadside, and he goes and restores it on YouTube. It's very good, very, very cool. Good channel, that. Let's go and render my man the duck and see what happens. And then hopefully the Photoshop thing is just going to be another 10-minute tweak. Rendering can only be performed through a camera. Please select the camera in the active viewport before rendering. Thank you, DAZ. So helpful. Do you know, he would appreciate that. You can send him donations, send him that, and he'll repair it for you live on camera. It's going to be great. I think the link is, let me just see if I can find it here. I'll just do it live while DAZ Studio is performing rendering duties. Web browser, there we go. I believe it's twitch.tv, the Jan Beta. See, Amiga 600 floppy disk games. Hilarious. This is his lab. It's kind of, it's crazy. It's good. He does all kinds of good stuff. Oh, live again in 5 days. Awesome. I'll put that link in the chat. It was, wasn't it? I never had one. I was so jealous of all the people who had an Amiga. We just could never afford that. So Duck V1. Woohoo! Go on, Duck. All right, let's go and put that in the Photoshop. And I might use a different color background. So we go rat goes away. We just go and put duck in here. But the gradient is already there, so we have essentially everything we need. duck. So cool. I might think we could, with the duck, we could potentially get away without a circle. We can either put the duck in the circle, or we can just maximize the duckness. Like that. What do you think? Put the duck in a circle, or just don't use a circle. Maximize duckicity. Duckness. And do away with the circle. Apply the same principles as with the rat. Or instead of a circle, we can also we can fill the whole background. So that is also a possibility, so that we have that instead of this background, I can just pick something like this red, and then just play with that. Either make it darker, make it like really red, you know, psycho duck, and then we just add a bit more separation around the duck, like we had before. Big duck head, also that's also possible, that we just essentially that the duck head is the circle. Let's try it all out. Let's go and copy the effects from here. Copy layer style, copy the same thing, paste the same thing onto the duck here. Paste layer style. And we may need something else with the duck, so I think, you know, maybe the duck with the drop shadow might be nice. Not so much 90 degrees, but something, yeah, I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not a drop shadow. Maybe in this case a stroke might be nice. Stroke not so much on the center but on the outside, and then perhaps not quite so big, and also perhaps not white. Perhaps we make that like black or something. Let's judge it when it's small. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about the stroke. Let's try the outer glow. Glow doesn't have to just be white either. We can make the glow dark. Then it's just like a soft fuzzy glow all the way around the duck. See if that works. Hello? Where are we? Is that not enabled? Outer glow not enabled? What the? Oh, screen. Okay, right. That could work, especially if we then go and make the duck a tad smaller. Multiply, let's try that. Multiply, a similar effect. Let's see what we want to do with the opacity, knock that down. I just like the idea of it being, of there being like a fuzzy cloud around it, you know, that's just make it large, man, something along the lines of that. See if that works when it's small. Okay, maybe it's a bit too big, but you know, something like that. What do you think? Just so that the duck separates itself from the background. I like this whole red square with the duck in the middle. We can also, the other thing we can try is instead of that, we can literally just go for a completely black background, so or like a completely transparent background, that we don't give it a background at all, so that it's just there kind of hovering on whatever background it is. The outer glow might be a little bit much there, so I will knock that down in regards to size. Works, right? What's your preference, guys? Would you like to see a colored background, or would you like to see it with a transparent background, much like the rat? Just a floating duck, especially when things go wrong. That's not a bad idea. Like the fail stream. I do want to try something else, and that is, I'll just go and copy the whole duck quickly. Transparent. Oh, that's the vote. Is transparent. I'll lock this one in, duck version 1, and I'll take this duck, and I just want to zoom in just into the duck's head, just to see how that works. Whoops. And then we can always render that better. I mean, this kind of, I like it already. If we have that, we can always make sure it's just the duck's head, but I'm not sure if we see that it now is actually a duck, you know, in the smaller version. This could literally be anything. So we have this versus that. I almost like the duck head even better. Just the duck head. You like transparent? Yeah, I like transparent too. Let's leave it transparent then. And then just so with the little dark separation there. But what do you think, just the duck head or the whole duck? I like both of them, I must say. Christina, tell me, when you modeled this duck 25 years ago, were you already aware that it's going to become a memeing sensation on the internet? Dun, 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 dun. I can't decide, you know. The whole duck? The whole duck and nothing but the duck? Let's have the whole duck. I think I'm going to go and just size up the duck. Let me go and take that background and just turn it into something else again. I'll just make it just not so much that we're going to use red, just for visibility. I think I can make the duck a little bit larger. Why Photoshop? If I'm scaling this literally from the middle, why are you not doing that, Photoshop? Please tell me. You're usually doing it. Today you're not. Why? Answers on a postcard. Good point. Yes, internet wasn't quite around. Yeah, it was just about happening, wasn't it? Yeah, I'm holding Alt, exactly. And when I'm holding Alt, I'm expecting the duck to scale from here. But when what actually happens is that the duck is scaling from, I don't know, not the middle. Thank you, Photoshop. I've got the bug-free version, by the way. Yes, Alt scales from the center, absolutely. It's one of those, it works really well. Usually, just not in this example. Well, tell you what, I'll go and post this as a tiny emote onto Discord. I may actually post this and the duck head, just so that you see both versions. And I'll post the tiniest version like we did before. And this is going to be also 28 by 28. I haven't actually seen the gun sight. That's a good point, Rod. Let's see what happens. Duck hole. And we'll have duck head. Dun, 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 dun. And then it is nearly time for live from Down Under with Steve from Backdoor 3D Studios. Duck head. There we go. I'll post those on Discord. Let me know your preferences. And then we're kind of done here, because I think This was good. Here's the whole duck and nothing but the duck. And here's the duck's head on Discord. I do like both versions. I do like both versions. But, you know, we have ample time to decide which version we want to go with. Steve, I hope you're ready. Let me just go and see if you are in fact ready. Go to the Twitch, Backdoor 3D Studios, and then we'll call it Live from Down Under Part 2, converting Generation 4 characters from 3D Light to Ira in DAZ Studio. Yes, Steve is already live. This is exciting. My friends, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for all your help and your wonderful comments. If you are on Discord, let me know in the 2D chat what you think of which duck version we shall use and also which rat version we shall use. And then I will generate all 3 versions of that version, and then I will try my best to find where I submit them on Twitch. And then I'm trying to create that thing that's called WP Guru Duck. So we have WP Guru Rat and we have Duck, and it's all going to be exciting. Have a wonderful stream, Steve, and I hope I see you on the other side. I will be back tomorrow with something. I'm not entirely sure what yet. Could well be a video game. We could have a look at Halo, the Pillar of Autumn, no, the Truth and Reconciliation thing. I'd like to have a look at that. I've mapped my controller to work better with the ancient old version of Halo from 2001. Could be fun. My friends, thank you so much for watching. I will see you on the other side. Take care. Bye-bye.